Okay, here we go. And we are live. And we are live. Okay, 1 second. Sorry. Okay, folks, pardon me. YouTube does not make this simplistic to go live. And this is like our fifth one, and I'm still all thumbs with it. So that's my excuse for the day. Happy Sunday. Thanks for coming. If you're here, whoever's not here, please raise your hand. If you're here, we can get this going. So I'm getting a lot of glare on that side. So I wonder why that is. Anyway, let me go ahead and just do this. Let me set up what I need to set up. I'll be right back. Okay, thank you for your patience. We are ready, and I hope we're recording on our other one. Anywho, my name's Jack. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to another talk. And we've got a good one today. I'm feeling really good today. July 5th, Sunday. I feel really good. It's also my birthday, July 5th. So that means you got to be nice to me today. I'm just kidding. Okay. It is my birthday. I'm 64 today. So whatever that means. But anyway, good morning and welcome. And we're going to have a good time. I got to tell you about this. This is pretty amazing. Let me ask you a personal question. Have you ever laid awake at night thinking about someone who hurt you? They hurt you psychologically, they hurt you emotionally. Maybe they didn't lay a finger on you. Maybe they didn't cause a welt or break a bone or give you a black eye. Maybe it was nothing physical, but they hurt you. It still hurt, right? If this is you, then this talk is for you because we're going to be talking about that. Have you ever asked yourself, why can't I stop thinking about this person? Right? It might have been somebody in your home, at work, at school, down the street, the neighbor. It might have been somebody. There's a store manager at my favorite grocery store. He's the manager at that store. About a year ago, he screamed at me and for doing nothing. And I clocked him instantly. I go, oh, another one. Narcissist. They scream to try to regain control. That when they scream, it means I'm losing control, right? So this person might have been anywhere. Maybe they lied to you, they manipulated you, they screamed at you, they raised their voice at you. I mean, we're adults, right? Why are you raising your voice? You're nuts. You're crazy. They must have run out of room at the insane asylum, huh? They really must have, because they are out. Whoa, are they out? They're out there. So none of that's never, ever much fun, is it? like you, I've had narcissists scream at me. I could probably list a dozen times over the years, from a little boy on. I never knew what it was. It's just somebody's unhappy. They're upset, so they scream, right? It's nothing that you do. It's them unloading. The volcano goes off and the lava lands on you, but it's them. They have no emotional regulation. So they scream to try to recollect themselves, regain control of themselves. That's what that scream is. It's really not about you at all. So screaming is it's what they do. It's how they do that. It's how they try to regain control. They don't care if they hurt you in the process. They couldn't care less, because they have no conscience. Remember Jiminy Cricket from Walt Disney? Always let your conscience be your guide. Narcissists, they don't care. They have no conscience at all. They are devoid of conscience. So they can do anything to anybody and go home and sleep like a baby, right? All that matters to them is that they regain control. That's it, right? They can scream at you and then carry on like nothing ever happened. Oh, the next day, they conveniently forget everything. And meanwhile, you're going like, oh my God, I hate you so much. Why do I have to live in the same house as you, or whatever? For a while, we do. We're stuck with these people under the same roof, because how do you know until that monster starts coming out of them? Up until that monster stayed inside of them, you never knew there was anything wrong with them. In fact, you thought they were pretty good. They put on a pretty good act. And the Oscar goes to fill in the blank, right? Your favorite narcissist. And they scream at you, and you're left there shaking as a result of them screaming. You're like, oh my God, that's so emotionally, it rips you to your core. Like, I think you just screamed my soul out of me. And that right there might be what they're actually after. A narcissist has no soul. You need to learn right now, you need to realize that just because a human being is walking around on two legs, it doesn't mean that they have a soul at all. I used to think that for the longest time. There's a human being. They're just like me. They have a soul. They have an essence. They have a spirit. In Spanish, alma. They have alma. I think Latin too, and Italian. Alma is your spirit, your alma, your spirit. But they don't have one. So if they don't have one, they're going to be jealous of anyone who does have one, right? Narcissists are extremely jealous people. They know there's something wrong with them. They put on a good act, like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. It's everybody else. It's the other 8 billion people on this planet who have issues, not me. I'm the perfect one. But they know. They know. They can sense it. They're detectives, those people. They're really, really sharp detectives, because they've had to detect emotion from other people their whole life so they can feed. So they don't self-observe, like you'll see that coming up. That's your self-observation, your self-awareness is what saves you from these people. You stay with yourself, and then anything can be happening outside of you and you won't care, because you're with yourself. But they can't do that. They never go inside of themselves. They go only on the exterior. So when their exterior seems like it's falling apart, they scream, they react. Well, we can't have that happen. Like if you question one of them, they don't like being questioned. They hate it. Okay. You know all this, right? You're sensing it. It's dawning on you, right? So it's no fun. spending any time at all with these people. Any time at all. It is no fun. No fun at all. So this narcissist that you can't get out of your mind, or narcissists plural, these people who hurt you repeatedly, this person or people who hurt you repeatedly, you knew they weren't good for you, right? Or you know that now, or you're dealing with one right now, or you're living with one right now, and deep down you know they're not right for you. And yet your mind, like, they rent space in your mind. Like you and I allow pardon me. You and I allow them to rent space for free. We give them space in our mind. Why do we do that? Why do I do that? Why do I waste my time and energy, my precious time, thinking about a degenerate, a vile, low, degenerate human being? Why are they in my head? And I'm about to tell you why. We replay conversations. We wonder, God, what happened? What happened? Right? We wonder if they were family, a family member, whether they ever really cared for us, or maybe a close friend for years. But then their narcissistic monster started coming out of them. There's someone I knew. We were tight. We were close from 8th grade on, and we did a lot of things together. We traveled. We did a lot of things together. And then when I was about 15 years ago, he and I started communicating again. You know, years pass, you go out and you do your thing, you run your career. And he changed, and not for the better. He changed for the worst. And I never, ever knew it, because I didn't know what a narcissist was. I just thought, that's him. And Mark had changed a lot worse. And I'm like, oh, wow, you're one of them. Because when we met later, I knew what narcissists were. I never even heard the word when I was a kid, when we were, hanging around, being good friends. So you wonder if they ever really cared for you. You wonder if they miss you now. You wonder if you'll ever get over them, if you'll ever stop thinking about them. And today, I want to suggest something that might surprise you. You and I, we do not keep thinking about these narcissists because we loved them too much. We keep thinking about them. They keep coming to mind because my mind is still trying to solve a puzzle that never made sense. And boy, are these narcissistic degenerates a puzzle. That's putting it lightly, isn't it? Is there a more what is it? Discombobulated, chaotic, screwed up, messed up, psychologically, emotionally hurting person on this planet? Is there anyone who's more of that than a narcissist? I don't know. Malignant narcissist, which leads to psychopathy and or sociopath. It can, in bad cases. My adoptive father was a malignant narcissist, and I'm pretty sure because I've read the psychopathy, I'm pretty sure he was borderline or crossing into psychopath. My adoptive father, who was physically abusive, not to his two natural born children, but to me, his eldest son. Apparently he had it in for me. He didn't touch his eldest was my sister. That was his first child, and then they adopted me, and then they had naturally my younger brother. So there's 3 of us. He came after me physically. Not once, not twice. I mean, you gonna do that to somebody you live with? To your son? To a baby that you adopted? Anyway, I don't want to, I'm not here to get into any of that crap. But I'm just trying to paint the picture of these people are effing sick. Okay. And you know that. So let's not ever lose sight of that. Let's not discount that. They are sick. In a perfect world, they'd be locked up. But, whoever said this was a perfect world, it's not. So it has been said when Satan cannot get you directly, he sends in a narcissist. And I believe that saying to my core. Why? Because I have firsthand experienced that for myself. I know that from myself. It's a fact. Okay. So why do you and I keep thinking about these people? Why do we allow them to rent space in our minds for free? Because the human mind hates unfinished business. So that's my mind, my mind and my false self. My true self could not care less. My true self wants to just relax and enjoy and have a good time and just go about and have fun and do what I need to do in life to enjoy myself. That's the true self. That's the self that we get to when we are self-observing. Because when we're focused on self-observation and waking up emotionally and psychologically, we don't care about the degenerates of this world. We couldn't care less. We focus on them only when we don't know what to do with ourselves, rightly do with ourselves, which is to be self-observing. If I self-observed constantly, I would be in that higher state always, and I wouldn't, what do I care about any, So somebody screamed at me. Oh, well, I mean, you just let it go and move on. But that's easier said than done. These people still end up in our heads, right? Because the mind coupled with the false self, my false self wants to grind over it. Boy, I could have handled that better. Boy, one of these days I'm going to get him. Revenge, right? Revenge is a dish best served cold, right? So our minds crave understanding. Mentally, we want things to be resolved. We want closure in relationships. Okay, I'm done with you. I'm leaving you. Bye. We want to say that to the narcissist. Now, never contact me again. I'm leaving. You stay here. I'm leaving. Or you get out. I'm staying. Goodbye. Get out. I'm never going to think about you again. We want closure. We want something to end because something began. We remember when it began. Oh, we went out. We met at the store, or we met at the park, or we met somewhere, and then we went on our first date. All those things, we remember the beginning. So we want like bookends, like on your shelf, you have books. We want one bookend holds the books up here and another bookend holds the books up here. We want bookends. We want finality. Dealing with narcissists, you're not going to get that. And we'll get into that too. So the mind craves understanding. We want reasons why we do things. We want explanations to our questions. We want closure to our relationships. We want answers to our questions. But narcissistic relationships do not provide these things. Narcissistic relationships, even we didn't know we were getting into a relationship or a friendship or an association or an acquaintance, or it's a neighbor, or, have you ever, got into it with a neighbor and you were like, oh my God, this person's really screwed up. My friend Terry, who taught me how to self-observe, he was one of my best teachers. Terry told me, and he would tell the class too, collectively, he said, have nothing to do with your neighbors. He said that a lot, and he was right. Have nothing to do with them. These people are not good, right? But you got to figure this out for yourself. So narcissistic relationships they leave us with contradictions, confusion, mixed signals, unanswered questions, because that's the nature of this agent of Satan. Remember, we just said when Satan can't get you direct, he sends in a narcissist. Why? Because narcissists are agents of Satan. They come from the depths of hell, okay? I'm using colorful language, but it's fairly descriptive. If you have ever dealt with one of them, you understand. I have to paint a picture, but I have to use words, and words are finite in meaning. They can only go so far. But you remember what that person was like. Maybe it was a roommate. I remember having roommates in the past many years ago, and I was like, what's wrong with that guy? Or what's wrong with her? I thought they were cool. I thought they were like normal people. But now that we're living together, I remember I lived in a house a few blocks from a beach in San Diego. It was a 4-bedroom house with other people, and they had their friends were coming in and out and all that. And I remember this one girl moved in, and we were all, oh, she's really cute, and all that. But she turned out to be nuts. We were like, how do we get rid of her? How do we get her out? So we'd hold these clandestine meetings, and what are we going to do? How are we finally, the owner of the house, we had to tell Ed, hey, look, you got to tell her to get out, and we'll pay you. We'll pay her rent. We just need her out because she's nuts. They called her wheat germ because in the morning, one of the things that she did, among many, she'd be up at like 5 a.m. in the kitchen with a blender, blending her. She was like one of these fitness freaks. It's good to be a fitness freak, but she really turned it on. And one of her things was, where's my wheat germ? Like she'd have to be putting all these things into her protein shake smoothie. Where I can't find my wheat germ. Did any of you guys see my wheat germ? So we called her wheat germ. It's pretty funny. She was not well loved. You know what I mean? When you're young and you don't know these things, but after a while you get a taste and you're like, these people are nuts. I hate to imagine whatever happened to wheat germ. If she was ever really got into really bad shape, I would not be shocked. So my mind keeps returning to thoughts of this relationship, whether, no matter what kind of relationship it was with the narcissist, because the mind thinks, if I just think about this a little bit longer, maybe I will finally understand it. Because the mind wants to come into balance. The mind wants to be, there's a word, equilibrium or whatever. The mind wants closure. The mind wants finality. The mind wants something to be balanced. But if you're dealing with one of these psychos, one of these super sickos, it's not normal. It's not like a normal person. Okay, Billy. Okay, Mary. Normal people, whatever. Okay, that's the end of our friendship, relationship, whatever. And then that's it. No, they're ultra psycho inside of them. So their psychoness tends to like it leaves residue on us, like the TV commercials. Do you have soap scum on your skin? You know, you're using the wrong soap, so it leaves a residue on us, and which might actually be like a warning from nature to, red alert, stay away from these people. They're nuts. So that's why they stick to our mind. The next point on this is that confusion creates obsession. One of the biggest reasons people can't let go of a narcissist is confusion. One day, these people were like so nice to you, so friendly and so helpful. I had this with a neighbor. And then the next day, like they're ignoring you, or they're cold, or they're like, who are you again, or whatever. And one day they praise you, and then the next day they attack you. I don't know if you've ever had like that black and white, that hot and cold, that much difference, but you get the idea. So one day they want you close, and the next day they push you away, or whatever. Or they tell you one thing when you're alone, and then other things when there's people around, that kind of a situation. The mind keeps trying to reconcile two completely different people, because that's what they are. They are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Okay. Because they're screwed up. They don't know inside them what or who they are. So how can I know if they don't first know? If they don't have an inner life, which they don't, they're empty. They have feelings, but their feelings don't stay with them, and their feelings, they don't know how to regulate them, how to categorize them, they've never processed feelings. They missed that part of development, that part of growing up. That's why it's such a shock. You see an adult, so I assume that this adult man is going to act like an adult. He is an adult. I see him. He's 6'2", whatever. He's 5'8", or this lady, I'm looking at her. I'm projecting what I am onto her also. I've given so many people in my life, in my history, the benefit of the doubt. Like I'd look at them. Oh, they're just normal people, because I'm projecting me onto them. But I was wrong, right? Sometimes we're right, but we're not always right. How many times have you thought, this is just a normal person? I'll get involved with them. I'll be friends with them. They're a neighbor. Yeah, sure. I'll go chat with my neighbor. I remember Mr. Wallstead down the street, and then he was a nice guy. And then like the third time, I'm just a kid. I think I was 8 years old, and he unloads on me. He just screams at me, and you don't know what that is. You're like, okay, that's different. That's something different, Mr. Wallstead, because you dared to upset the apple cart or something, whatever, right? So two completely different people inside of them, at least. There might be more. I've kind of thought of them as like when you peel an orange, and then all those wedges, then you take the orange apart, and you're like, whoa, look, there's 12 wedges to this orange. Well, that's a narcissist. That's how many times they are split, because they don't know who or what they are. So when they go to work, they're one of those wedges. When they go home, they're one of those wedges. When they meet you or they have a meeting, they're one of those. There's always you don't know which wedge you're getting. I'm telling you, like they used to say about, there was I think he played trumpet, jazz trumpet. His name was Stan Getz. He's dead now. Probably good, huh? Getz. You know what they used to say about Stan Getz? They said, Stan, oh yeah, he's a nice bunch of guys. That's that's what schizoid means. Schizoid means from Greek split. Schizoid means split personality. Schizophrenic means split, multi, many. That's the orange. Peel the orange, pull the all those pieces apart. That's schizophrenia. It's multi, many, many, many. You don't know which one you're getting. Stan, oh yeah, he's a nice bunch of guys. They're out there. You and I deal with them all the time. And they have a good, they put on a good stage performance until they don't. They're good actors until they turn into a bad actor. And when they're a bad actor, that's when they're hurling their abuse at you, right? But see, if I can learn to clock them, so then I will keep the geographic distance from them. I can look for the patterns in behavior, which is what we're getting into. Once I know it's a narcissist, then you better believe I know what to do. You stay away from that thing. That thing's a wild animal. Oh, it's got sharp teeth, sharp claws. It's crazy. It can hurt you. Sometimes I wake up, I'm up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'll take an early walk, and I'll walk in my neighborhood. And we live kind of, we meaning my street, us. I live alone here. Thank God. Thank you, God. But I'll see coyotes out there, and sometimes a raccoon. And it's 4 a.m. and you're out on a street, trees, and the moon was up, like this morning was up, the shadows, and then, whoa, there goes, oh, there's a coyote. It's kind of great. It's spooky. It's spooky, creepy kind of. And I always go, hi, baby. Hi, baby. The people who live around here, they're kind of, they yell at the coyotes because sometimes they'll even be out in daylight. What are you yelling at a coyote for? I told this one old lady, she was screaming at the coyote. I said, he was here before us. Why are you screaming at the coyote? He's just hungry. You know? Yelling at a coyote. How stupid. But anyway, so pull the camera back. Third point, I need to ask myself, when I deal with this narcissist now or in the past, am I trying to solve an unsolvable puzzle? Yes. Right? Yeah, I'm trying to solve that with my mind. And this really wise man, this great writer named Vernon Howard, he's great. Google him. He's great. He said, don't try to do with your mind what can only be done with the spirit, which is a beautiful sentence. Don't try to do with the mind. I'm trying to solve an unsolvable puzzle. What can only be done with the spirit. So what's he saying? He's saying your mind will never figure out the narcissist. Your essence can, because your essence, when you make contact with your inner self, when you're self-observing, when you're working with self-awareness, when I reach for this pen and I know I'm holding this pen and I'm living in this moment right now, all those nasty memories, that narcissist, whatever, none of that matters. Only this moment right now and that feeling of aliveness is what matters. The narcissist, I was saying before, can detect, they know that they are dead, that they have no soul, they have no essence. They're screwed up and they know it. They scream at us also because they can also see light, understanding, creativity, the light, awareness, is a creative force. Darkness is a destructive force. The narcissist knows that they are part of destruction. That's another reason that they scream at us. See, you and I have found ourselves associating with dark people, satanic people, demon-possessed human beings. The devil is alive and well on planet Earth. That's why this Earth is in the shape that it is. That's why people fight. Why do people fight? Because human beings are possessed by darkness. Okay? So the devil, evil, darkness works on this planet through human beings. The narcissist is part of the destructive force. You and I, if you're listening to this right now, you have light in you. You have ears that can hear. Remember Christ said, blessed are those with ears to hear and eyes to see. It's also been called a child of the light. You are a child of the light. You are part of the creative force. So let me break it down like this too. Angels and devils, that's easier too. There are angels out there among us. If you are an angel, you can see and you know another angel. There's an angel who lives the next building over from me. She's a very sweet, very nice, skinny little black lady, older. She's probably getting close. She's 75 or 80 right now. She is sweet as apple pie. And that's not her false self. That's her. I hadn't seen her in about 2 or 3 years, and I just bumped into her on a walk. And we chatted for a few moments, and she lit up. And I'm like, honey, because I waved to her. She was way down at the end. I go, hey. And she came up. We talked. So angels know other angels. Devils know other devils too. But the fights that we get into are devil on angel. Devils will find an angel and just start grinding, because an angel is not like a devil. An angel is different, and the devil knows the difference. And the devil, because his or her nature is devilish, lower, they have to attack and try to put out the light. That's their job from darkness itself, from Satan, from the devil. They have to attack the light. That's why in this world, anytime the light shows, darkness is compelled to attack it. If you are someone of the light, if you are a child of the light, they've been called, if you are an angel, you're going to get attacked. And the payment for spiritual growth is more attack from spiritual dark. And how does the darkness get you? Through human beings. So how do you handle it? Well, you minimize your interaction. Once you clock them and you know what they are, who they are, you minimize your interaction with them. You keep all emotion out of it. You just stay with the facts. You try to get off on your own somewhere. Do all you can. I mean, that's what I did. I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you what I did. Get off on your own. Because I realized I was married to one. I was married to a dark force person. Not that she didn't try to physically kill me or anything like that, but she just drained me. And I knew it was February, and I told myself, I said, if she stays here, I will not make summer. I'll be dead. She will drain me by then. Okay. So I'm 64 today, and I've really come to that realization that there are angels, and they are few and far between, and there are devils, and there are a lot of devils. Devils are legion. This world is teeming with devils. Okay. If they don't put truth first, they're a devil. That's the defining light. That's how you know. So you tell me how many angels there are out there, because an angel will always just put truth first. First, truth first, last, always. So how many people do you know who are angels, right? So am I trying to solve an unsolvable puzzle when I'm dealing with this narcissist? Yeah. So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me. I'm telling myself this right now. Just don't interact with these people. See it, clock it, realize what it is. Say, okay, there's another one. Now I'm just going to, because I don't want to give him, if I give him, the currency is emotion. The currency that the narcissists deal with is emotion. So don't give them any emotion. If there's no currency, there's no interaction. Just the facts, in and out. Oh, he needs something. Okay, here are the facts. And now I'm done. Bye. Hello, goodbye. That's it. At work, you're a nasty person. You better start clocking who these people are. And I'll tell you, it's going to be 8 or 9 out of every 10 people you know, it's going to be a devil, meaning they're not good for you. And I know that's a big horse tablet to swallow, but that's the truth. And it might be more than that. It might be 9.9 out of 10 people are bad for you, not good for you. And again, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to myself. I need to hear this. So I forget closure. What I need is clarity. But if I approach the narcissist saying, I want closure, you think I'm going to get closure? That to them is an invitation for another fight, for more arguing, which is how they feed. They feed by arguing. If you know anyone in your life who enjoys arguing, you're looking at a narcissist, plain and simple, right? But my clarity depends on who? Can I ask the narcissist for clarity? No. Can I ask anybody I know for clarity? No. I have to ask myself. My clarity depends on me. That's where my self-responsibility steps up for my clarity, because with clarity, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what to say. The words will come to you. The words will come to me. Remember that when Christ said, don't even worry about the words, because the correct words will come to you. When the time is right and you need to finally speak, the words will come to you if you're putting self-awareness first, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, then all else will be given unto you. Kingdom of heaven is inside me. So Christ was saying, this is how I want you to live. First, you're going to self-observe. You're going to go through your day self-observing. Always keep it to self-observing. Then, no matter what you run into on the exterior, you'll know how to handle it. And you will be protected. Higher energy itself will protect you. And I'm learning sometimes the best thing to say ever is to say nothing at all. No response. In other words, sometimes I need to keep my big mouth shut. Not easy. But sometimes that's the absolute best thing going. Because if I shut up, the narcissist has nothing to grab onto. They want me to reply. They want me to argue, to fight. They want that. They feed on that. That's what they love. So for closure in that relationship with the narcissist, I need to involve